Okay, hello guys, good morning. I want to make a short broadcast now that is actually an abridgment of things that we said in Hebrew, and I think would be worthwhile to say also in English. Hopefully, some people would listen, but in any case, it's worthwhile to mention these things. And this is the idea of Palestinian Jesus. Okay, that recently started to be voiced a campaign, a certain narrative according that is trying to label Jesus as Palestinian. And what I'm trying to say is that this narrative is, well, a lot of people might think that it is an anti-zionist narrative, which it is. It's actually more an anti-Christian narrative. And I want to explain why. On face value, why would it be an anti-Christian narrative, right? Because at the end of the day, the Christians don't have any special stance about this matter. Okay, so some people believe in Jesus, some people believe that Jesus was a Palestinian, and it's fine. There's no problem with it. And this goes into deeper roots. And this is the identity of Jesus in Islam compared to Christianity. And this is a distinction that not always people are making. Because on face value, on flat value, we see that both of these religions have an identity of Jesus. And supposedly on this they agree. And therefore, people are mistaken to think that just because Jesus exists in both of these religions, they are in agreement about his identity. But as a matter of fact, just the fact that the Muslims also attribute a certain character or a certain identity to Jesus doesn't mean that they believe in the same things. And that is something that a lot of Europeans, a lot of Christians fall for. They do not understand the distinction between Jesus in Christianity and Jesus in Islam. For Muslims, and the story of Jesus is not the only example in which they do that. Islam has a certain acknowledgement of biblical characters that it is actually founded on, but they do not accept, Islam does not accept the traditional, let's say, stories of Judaism and Christianity about these figures. Okay, so for instance, Muslims have the identities of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and King David and Solomon from the Jewish Bible. And they have Jesus from the Christian New Testament. But they do not accept the books themselves from which these characters are derived. So when you will come to a Muslim and you will talk to him about Jesus and you will talk to him about King David or about Abraham or Isaac or Jacob or whatever, or Moses, they'll say, yeah, we believe in the existence of this character, but we do not accept the Bible, we do not accept the New Testament and so on, as it is written by the Jews and the Christians, because the Jews and the Christians are liars. They lied, they deceived, they fabricated these stories. And we, the Muslims, have the true account. And therefore, for Muslims, the canonical text of either Judaism or Christianity are meaningless. And therefore, they can mock them, they can distort them, they can make all sorts of grotesque modifications of these texts. And this is exactly what we are witnessing when it comes to the concept of Palestinian Jesus. And it is more an anti-Christian attack, an assault on Christianity, than it is against the state of Israel, or the Zionist, or Judaism, or whatever. And this is something you need to understand. And even if you're not religious Christian, that's an attack against the foundations of your civilization. Okay? The European, Western, Christian culture is under attack when Muslim propaganda tries to label Jesus as a Palestinian. Because we all know Jesus was Jewish, according to the New Testament and Christianity. But not everybody is necessarily aware how Jewish Jesus is according to the Christian religion, according to the Christian texts. And this is something we need to disseminate, we need to explain. And actually, it's very funny because it's not my job. It should have been the job of the priest. The Pope, for instance, should have explained something like that. And the fact that we see the Pope of the Catholic Church posing in front of Palestinian Jesus is really unfathomable. I mean, I find it quite ridiculous that I need to do the job of the Pope, actually, for you, and actually tell you what is written in the New Testament. Okay, so let's read the New Testament, actually the first page of the New Testament, and let's see what is written in, well, technically in your own books. Yeah, book of Matthew, page 1. Okay, let's just read the book. And in the New Testament, it's written quite clearly what is the genealogy of Jesus according to the New Testament. And it's quite clear from page 1 that the book begins with the genealogy of Jesus according to the New Testament. And it writes like so. This is the genealogy of Jesus the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abram. Abram was the father of Isaac, Isaac was the father of Jacob, Jacob the father of Judah and his brothers, Judah the father of Peretz and Zerach, whose mother was Tamar, and so on and so on and so on. It goes up to King David, and from King David to Solomon, and then to King Menashe, and so on, to the exile to Babylon. And then after the exile of Babylon, you can see Yochaniah was the father of Shealtiel, Shealtiel was the father of Zerubbabel, and so on, until Matan, whose father was the father of Jacob, and Jacob the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, and Mary was the mother of Jesus, who is called the Messiah. So the New Testament is quite clear, not just that Jesus was Jewish because he was born in Israel, according to the New Testament, 2,000 years ago or more, and his father's name was Joseph. It goes actually much deeper than this according to Christian theology. He has a whole genealogy, and all of his forefathers, according at least to the Christian belief, are quite clearly Jewish. These are not Palestinian names, these are Jewish names. Maybe Judah is a Palestinian name, I don't know. So I ask myself, and this is a question we ask ourselves, not just with regards to the modern Pope. We ask this question in our broadcasts also here in Israel about professors and rabbis that should be experts on all sorts of fields and should announce the very clear, most basic understandings about the expertise. We now address this question to the Pope. The current one or the previous ones, all the same. Either they don't know what is written in their own books, and then that's unbelievable, but crazy, but well, it's crazy. Or they know and don't announce it, and that's also crazy. So I guess there's plenty of priests around, and I want to ask him, don't you know what is written in your own books? How can you give in to this narrative that Jesus was a Palestinian? Because, I mean, I can understand criticism about Israel or any kind of political, moral, religious criticism one might have. But when your criticism makes you already blind to what is written in your own books, holy books, supposedly, that's already quite quite remarkable. Okay, so you can have this narrative of Jesus, Palestinian Jesus or whatever, but you cannot be a Christian and hold into this narrative. You can be a Muslim holding to this narrative, because what is written here in the New Testament is in no way obliging for Muslims, because they do believe in a certain image of Jesus which is completely different than it is in Christianity, but they don't believe in the New Testament. But you cannot be a Christian and accept this narrative of Palestinian Jesus. And if you're a European and don't identify as a religious Christians and so on, you also are very highly not advisable for you to cooperate necessarily with this, with such narratives, because they are dangerous for you. They will be highly harmful for you, even if you're not religious, but you participate and cooperate with this kind of insanity. It's not for your own good. Anyway, happy Hanukkah, happy Christmas, happy Git and Shabbos for everybody. Happy weekend, and please let's use our how would I say, common sense a bit more, and just stick to the most basic common sense. It would probably be the best. So, good morning everybody. Bye.